Hello lads and laddies, and welcome to a little wet video. I'm now copying Salute. I'm going to be making my own little guide when it comes to driving tanks. No, not driving tanks, gunning. And just, the gunner in my opinion is the commander of the real world. He tells what everyone should be doing in a tank. I'm only joking. I'm not stealing Salude's content. I've been asked to do this, and I think it's a good learning experience for anyone who wants to play tanks in squad. It's something to learn from. Just to talk you through what's happening at the moment. We're in Kamdesh, the worst possible map. Well, it's probably not the worst possible map, but one of the worst maps for tanks, just because of everything's wooded up. It's perfect for ATs to hide. We're pushing in on an objective that is basically being held by a large proportion of the enemy team, and our main goal here is just to support our infantry. The beauty of being a gunner is obviously you basically get to control where the tank is and the positioning and stuff like that. You can see that I constantly flick my map up, and that's to check what's happening around me, see what the situation is looking like. Is my team supporting me? And also whether or not, potentially there's people flanking our tank and stuff. It's important that as a gunner you're constantly worrying about what's around you. So you can see my main focus at the moment is that building, because I know there's quite a few guys in there, but I'm keep checking the map because obviously I want to make sure I know where these enemies are, and there's vehicles being called out and stuff like that, and I just need to having a map open allows me to see where these enemies are better. One of the tactics that I've just done there is someone marks something, you put a move marker on it, and then that move marker essentially is a guidance for where roughly that vehicle is, whether it's southeast or southwest. You know exactly whereabouts that marker is going to tell you exactly where it is. As you can see, I'm now doing what any good gunner should be doing, which is constantly scanning the ridge line. You shoot if there's one target that you see, like for example there, and you then just look off of it. It's important that if you can't kill the person, you switch to a different target. It depends. It's all dependent on the situation, though. For example, you could have a heavy anti-tank. I would like to think that I'd stay on looking at that point for a little bit longer. Bearing in mind, in this gameplay, we've got 4 crew members in the Challenger, which is the best setup for the Chally, just because then you've got pretty much 3 pairs of extra eyes. I believe here we're getting told that someone's on our flank potentially, so I'm just doing a quick scan over there. Don't see anything that's too much of a worry. See the ATs are struggling here with their ranging because obviously the old Russian tandem's a bit heavy and a bit slow, and actually requires skill to aim. I keep shelling this house because I know that they keep spawning in here, and I can keep seeing that there's enemies in here. I keep marking that, just making sure that people are aware of it. When it's important as well as a gunner that you're telling your machine gunner to concentrate on certain areas. So throughout this video, you'll see me telling my my commanding machine gunner, whatever you want to call it, to just be looking in areas that I'm not looking in, because what's the point in looking in the same area? It's the same for the commander as well. Unless, for example, you know all the enemies are in front of you, then you want your commander to specifically be looking for threats such as heavy anti-tank and so on and so forth. Quickly switch to AP here, purely because in command chat I've been made aware that there's potentially a vehicle behind me, but I do a quick scan, and again I'm satisfied that there's no one there. We are in a bit of a position where we're not too close, but we're not too far away either, so I'd say we're in a perfect engagement distance here, because the ATs are struggling to get close to us, hence why they keep missing, and at the same time they're going to struggle to actually do any damage to us frontally, especially the light anti-tanks, just because they can't penetrate. I've now started to notice that the ATs are starting to flank rather than take me head on, and so I'm now paying particular attention on this side where I've noticed that there's a few guys. You can see I check one area, I hold that position, make sure I've scanned it completely, and then I quickly switch over to another area. Now I'm moving it back over to the hill because again that's a known threat. However, I believe there's some friendlies up there now. Again, quick flick at the map, just check what's going on, where are my friendlies, just make sure, you know, I'm not team killing, because it's so easy to team kill in squad, especially if you're new to the game, because the first thing you do is you see someone running and then your instinct is to fucking shoot at them. As you can see, though, I'm not shooting straight away, I'm scanning my targets. I want to make sure that, you know, I'm not taking out friendlies. At the moment, I'm comfortable with our positioning, so we're not going to move, and that's purely because we've got team support here, infantry support all around us. Well, not all around us, but in areas in which it's cutting off the supply of enemies from being able to push towards us, and that's important. Tank players often like to fly around on their own, and it's pointless because you'll just get tracked, and as soon as you're tracked, the heavy anti-tanks will come in, or you'll get armour that will come in, and everyone will know where you are. My main advice is play the objectives, but play with the infantry. You can see the position here is perfect. We managed to you know, start capturing the flag that the enemy had just taken off of us, because we were able to just completely stop the enemies from being able to push in. Again, it's important that you keep checking that map. We've transitioned now onto, I think we started to we've either pushed back or had to repair or something. I can't really remember, this video was filmed so long ago, but you know, again, scanning, checking the ridge line, constantly scanning. Like to have a head like a headless chicken. So I can see something here. I'm pretty sure there was obviously mention of a vehicle, and so I've now spotted that vehicle. If you've got headphones, make sure you've got good headphones when you're playing squad. Make sure you've got the sounds up, because that tank shot and I was instantly able to recognise that that's where it came from. Now, a bit of a funny tactic here. I've obviously engaged that tank, but he's actually not a threat to us at the moment, and so I've actually just quickly switched to my machine gun to scan the ridgeline for potential ATs, able to take out two guys there nice and quickly. My commander's obviously maintaining eyes on that tank just to see whether or not he's going to push me. We're also in a position where, you know, if that tank was to push us, that's fine, because all we'll do is pull back and we'll be hull down, and only our turret will be showing. As you can see, picking off a load of infantry here, which is preventing them again from getting anywhere near the capture point, and also just wiping out all their ATs before they can even do anything. My commander has just marked AT there, so just wipe him out straight away. He's, you know, as soon as someone mentions AT, I don't care what you're shooting at, as long as it's not another AT or, you know, tank, you prioritise that target, because at the end of the day, he's the one that's going to screw you over. So again, head like a headless chicken. Commander makes me aware that there's a vehicle starting to move. Switch quickly back to AP, and I'm straight onto the target. Again, he's not moving. He's not a threat. So the greater threat there is the AT. So now my commander's killed the AT, because I've now spotted a BMP2 as well that's potentially pushing us. I've got that shell loaded, take a nice shot straight into the engine bay. However, it doesn't take the engine out or the track. So my driver, I immediately tell the driver to pull back, straight into cover. He misses his toe, boom, he's down, nice and easy, hold down, killed. He was screwed. Now we go on to the tank that's behind him. For some reason, I don't know what that guy's doing. He should have pulled back, but he thinks that he can win this fight, which he now decides that he's going to pull back after getting shot at. So that's fine. I'll switch back to killing your ATs. Thank you very much. And again, it's you know, we're in this really good position, and it's hard to explain positioning to people who are new, but positioning is essentially how you get high kill games and how you survive. You know, you'll notice that, you know, we haven't got any enemy infantry that are, you know, within 150 meters of us, and that's, I would say, probably my favourite engagement distance is around 150 to 200 meters for infantry. Anything a little bit closer than that, it then gets a little bit more difficult, because you can only see, like, let's say, what, 90, 80 degrees in front of you, and then the rest is obviously blacked out. So it makes it that much harder to cover a 360 degree view. Whereas if you're at 150 to 200 meters away, you can see a little bit more horizontally that what's in front of you, if that makes sense. But yeah, positioning is something that once you learn the maps and learn play styles of tanks, you'll understand how to position. Tanks are, in my opinion, in squad, you know, the support vehicles, essentially, they're not you rush into the capture point and kill everyone. I mean, sometimes you do. It's all circumstantial, and a good gunner will be able to command his crew and his tanks and coordinate infantry at the same time if he wishes to push into a capture point. You know, I could quite simply move this tank into that capture point, but I know for a fact that I'd get hit by a shit ton of ATs that are on this hilltop. So why would I do that when I can sit back and just pick them off one by one as they keep peeking over this hill? You know, we've got infantry in front of us which are creating almost like a barrier to stop the enemy ATs from getting close to us, and that's the positioning. As soon as I'm comfortable that, for example, my infantry is ready to move on to attack that enemy hab, I will support them in taking down that hab, because I can simply just send some heat shells at the enemy hab and boom, bada bang, you know, it goes down and my infantry move in and it's gone. They no longer can spawn in, and they can also help me take out anti-tanks that I might not see. But as you can see, we are literally just, the enemy team are just desperate to try and get in this flag, or desperate to even get a shot off at us, and we're just simply wiping them out one by one. It really, it's just, you know, it's one of these games where the positioning's great and the enemies don't have habs that are on our flanks, so they can't really do anything about it. Again, just constantly scanning the ridge line. Never fixing one spot. Always checking around. That's the most important thing. ATs are my main concern at this point because their armor's destroyed. And so essentially now I can almost chillax. I can think, well, you know, BMP T-72 down. There's nothing really else that can kill me, to be honest, apart from anti-tank. And so that's essentially now we just go into what I call just infantry machine feasting. You know, you just, that's it. Just keep picking them off. I mean, I don't know what was going on with this game, but the ATs were relentlessly trying to obviously get shots on us, but we were too quick in picking them off, which must have been extremely frustrating. But they're playing like idiots because they keep peeking the same points. You notice how we've got infantry all around us. I'm constantly communicating with commanders for support. Almost playing like someone behind the lines, and that's how a tank is almost used in squad. You do have your opportunities where you push in and the infantry are behind you, but never alone. And I think that's the main point of playing armour. It's deciding when to push in and when not to push in, and where to be and how far away to be. So we just got hit there by an anti-tank. Smoke blinds me, so I'm just you know, now scanning quickly to try and work out where that came from. Spotted the guy, I believe that's him. However, I'm not satisfied, so I continue scanning. You know, you've just got to keep it going. This guy's behind cover, so I load a bit of a squash head up. Maybe the wrong decision. I should have switched targets to maybe machine gunner. That guy went flying. And yeah, my commander's doing an excellent job just picking off targets. Who cares if he's not getting many kills? Because at the end of the day, he's there to take out someone when I don't see that person, if that makes sense. So he's picking off targets that I can't see at this moment in time. You know, he's just a secondary spotter, but with the ability to, if I physically can't see what he sees, or I'm not looking in the same area, he can just quickly take that threat out for me without even having to mention it for me. I've got the most ammo, he's got the least. Let the gunner do the work. So yeah, just a quick map check, see what's going on. Yeah, from there, again, still infantry pushing along there. It's just, tanks, to be honest with you, to do well in a tank, you do have to be quite campy. it depends. So we'll do more videos talking about IFVs, infantry fighting vehicles, and armored personnel carriers, and how the gameplay style is a little bit different. So obviously in an APC IFV we won't be able to sit here for as long as we can, and I wouldn't recommend sometimes sitting for too long, because enemies will just get a grasp of where you are, and eventually someone will just, you know, take the piss and flank 500 meters around the back of you, and then you'll end up getting killed. So it's one of those things. Again, it's learning when to move and when not to move, and where to move to and where not to move to. But you know, you can quite clearly see we're able to just sit here and keep picking people off like it's not even, you know, a problem. No one seems to want to be taking us out. And the reason we're remaining here as well is because the infantry, I don't know if you noticed when we opened the map up, the infantry was running quite thin on the ground. And so we're just essentially there to, again, ensure that that capture point isn't captured. And on a map like Kamdesh, you can't really be moving around in a tank because you are so easily tracked or taken out by anti-tank, that whenever you're moving, you want to be moving in such a way that you know, you're on your own, and almost you have to flank because you can't take direct routes. We're starting to get tracked here now, so this is a sign that we're potentially staying in the same position too long, because the ATs have now worked out how to get to us and stuff like that. Being tracked is a massive thing, causes all sorts of issues, because now my crew members have got to get out. As soon as they get out, they get shot at, and then what? I'm stuck on my own for a little while, potentially get taken out by heavy anti-tank. But luckily, it's only the one or two guys. Again, constantly scanning, making sure. Now that I've realised that they're coming on my right side, I'm going to start checking the right side a little bit more often, because, you know, what's not to say that someone else is running around the back of us. But once I've checked, you know, straight back to the front. I don't know if any of you gunners out there, you know, I constantly are using the WASD to actually move my turret, and then I do the small adjustments with my mouse. That's why it looks a bit cranky sometimes. It's because when I'm using WASD, it means that I get the maximum speed when turning my turret, rather than using my mouse to constantly turn the turret around. It's a habit that I've got into, so like I literally use WASD and the mouse at the same time to almost aim. I don't know if that makes sense to people. I'm sure it will do. But yeah, I'm almost certain. It's been a while since I've watched this game, but we'll probably move from this spot now that as soon as we get repaired. Again, checking the map just to make sure where the infantry are. I think we're getting in a pickle now where it's, you know, starting to consider smoking up, because we are completely surrounded. Yeah, look, loads of them pushing up on our sides now, so it's definitely, this is my opinion now, where we now need to be moving, but we can't because we're tracked. Yeah, it's taking those guys out.
Yeah, we've got infantry over here.
Just and now, yeah, moving up onto scanning the ridgeline again, realising that people are coming for us. You know, I don't know how else to reiterate it to people, but that's just the simplest way of ensuring that, you know, you don't get outflanked and don't get hit by ATs. It's just to continuously scan. Don't scan too fast, but scan quick enough, because if you scan too quick, you miss things. So just take your time with it. That's what I do. Move it into sections. So you notice how I'm like flicking 1, 2, 3, and then you know, pick someone off. Oh yeah, just take him out quickly. Section. You know, there's no rush. Take your time. Okay, so we've moved finally, after our team successfully now started capturing the next point. We've got a tank here, so we're going to try and take it out. I don't want to overextend, because we could get tracked or hit hard, and so, you know, we're peeking with our turret only exposing the smallest amount of the tank, make the enemy tank miss, pull back straight away, take a hit on the turret. And then we push through because I reload quicker, and boom, bada bing, straight into the ammo rack, pop, and off goes the cherry. Nice, good win, and that's a victory. with it's an 81 downs but 52 kills, so overall an excellent game in the Charlie 2. So yeah, guys, I don't know if this has been helpful. It's trying to just talk through my mind processes when I'm playing. I know that video is a bit of a campy game, but there'll be more gameplays to come and more guides of us talking through what my brain's thinking as I'm playing. Hope it's been helpful, and catch you in the next video.